YouTube, what is going on? It's the LA Prepper. Maybe I should change my channel name to the LA City Dweller Never Goes Out into the Mountains, because that's my life as of late. Oh, car. Why do you want to idle so high? I don't know. Although, let me try something else real quick. People online have said you turn the key on and off a couple times, it starts learning mode. So we're going to go on, 1, 2, 3, off, and on. Of course, you're supposed to have it at operating temperature when you do this, but yeah, then it's supposed to do this weird stuff where it goes up and down a couple times. Man. So anyways, what do we have here? This is the idle air temperature controller. This is the original one, I believe. Toyota. A little disappointed. I tried a resistance check on it. The service manual shows I can check the middle and the top plug and the middle of the bottom plug for resistance, and I should get some values, and I didn't get any values. So it is somewhat possible that this solenoid has completely crapped out, which would be a little unfortunate, but a little hard to see. But if you take a look in here, come on, camera. There we go. So let me spin it around like this. That surface right here, that's the little piston that slides. It was covered with this black crap. So I used a lot of starter fluid. I don't have any throttle body cleaner or carb cleaner on me at the moment. So, basically a solvent is a solvent. And unless you're messing with plastic and rubber and seals, solvents are good, right? So we tried some of that. I also tried some headlight restore because of it has fine abrasives in it, I believe. It is meant for plastic, but I think it did help. And I also tried a little bit of toothpaste. If I had lapping compound, I would have used that, and bonus points if you know what lapping compound is, and even more bonus points if you've ever hand lapped valves. I have. Fun times. Another quick tip I can say is never get rid of your old parts. I mean, you don't need, 24 spark plugs if you have a V6, but if you bought, remanufactured idle air control valve, keep the old one. This mechanical part right here is basically still good, aside from the fact that it was sticking. I might have had problems with the solenoid, and though you typically can't buy these separate, what you can possibly do is buy a cheap $20 one. It's going to have a cheap mechanical part and a cheap solenoid part, but the solenoid's a relatively simple device anyways, so whether or not it's made in China or made in America or made in Japan, if it works, it works. So I think what I'm going to try, and after having cleaned this, it's moving a lot freer now, and I'm tempted to put it back in, but for the fact that the resistance on this wasn't giving me anything. So I might do a little Frankenstein work and take the solenoid off the new one and put it on this. And you might ask yourself, well, why don't you just use the one that's in there? Well, my car doesn't seem to be liking it. So I don't know if my car doesn't like the new values that it's getting from the resistance on this. It's quite possible. I don't know if the battery reset changed some stuff. I know that based on some responses I've been getting online, you have to do this stuff with the throttle position sensor, and you gotta recalibrate it, and the little vacuum assist idle thing, you have to apply some vacuum to it and check these clearances and all this stuff. The only thing I changed when I messed with it, aside from the idle air control valve, was I took out a little slack on the cruise control, but I really don't think that should matter because there is still slack there, and I know that the throttle body, the throttle plates are completely closed, so it's not like I took out so much slack I'm causing it to be open, but I might just give it a little more slack just because who the frick knows what's going on with that, you know? But I took it to the shop. The shop basically looked at it. They did this courtesy inspection, which I really didn't ask for. They found a radiator leak, which I'll post a video. In fact, by the time you see this, you'll probably already see that video posted. And so they're like, oh, you know, your radiator's leaking, you know, it's going to be catastrophic, imminent overheat, you're not going to get very far, and all this bullshit. It just really pisses me off. Not that they found it, but just the way they dealt with it. You know, so the main problem my radiator was leaking was that I had this clamp that was missing. So it's like, how are you going to tell me to replace a hose and replace a radiator when it's only leaking because a clamp's missing? They claimed there were quote-unquote stress cracks. Well, if you're going to point out that there's stress cracks, you better point out where they are, take a picture, show me, circle them with the Sharpie. I mean, I work in aerospace, and when we have a problem, we circle it, we document it, we send it over to DiePen, and we confirm it, and then we deal with it. We don't just go on this word of mouth, oh, well, you have stress cracks and you're not going to make it very far and you better give us $1,000. Fuck you. Fuck you for treating me like that, you know? Not you guys, YouTube. You guys and gals are awesome, but fuck this dealership. Or not even a dealership, it was a service place. So I gave them a really crappy review. I'm going to keep posting pictures. And I'm basically going to keep the hoses on, keep the radiator in, keep the hose clamp there, and run this car, you know, till 300,000 miles. So if I go from 237,000 miles to 300,000 miles and don't have any overheat condition, which I've never had since I own the car, it's just going to prove how big a dipshits and scaremongers these guys are, you know? So I'm kind of looking forward to this challenge, the don't change your radiator hose, you know, possible overheat condition imminent. You know, is it possible that there are some cracks on the radiator? Yeah, I suppose. Is it possible it leaks a few drops of fluid? Yeah. Is the whole thing gonna frickin' blow up and dump radiator fluid all over the ground? Yeah, I really don't think so, you know? If it was leaking enough to where I saw it spraying out or dripping visibly, I might deal with it. I might buy a DiePen kit, dye penetrant kit, and you put it in the radiator fluid and then you get a UV light, kind of shine it around and see what's up. That's kind of a cool method. So anyways, we got our repurposed old idle air control valve. I'm a little nervous about the fact that I wasn't measuring resistances through the solenoid, so that solenoid might have crapped out. But I'm kind of tempted just to throw this thing in and see how it does. I'm going to measure, when I get home after grabbing some coffee and maybe a donut, I'm going to measure the resistance on the one that's in there, see if that's giving me values. And then, you know, I don't know, but it's still idling high. There's still something about this car that just doesn't like what I did to it as of late. Better than idling so low that it dies, but it's causing me shift issues, and I suspect the check engine light's going to come on, which causes the vehicle stability control light to come on. So just all sorts of lights that are coming on and all sorts of fun. But in other news, we're going to take the motorcycle to the shop today, so we're going to get at least one vehicle idling right, and that'll be cool. Pretty stoked about that, not too worried. Motorcycle mechanics tend to be a little bit cooler than car mechanics because they ride motorcycles typically, and people who ride motorcycles are usually cooler than people drive cars. Sorry, not trying to hate on the cagers, but it's just true. So we're gonna take it there. You know, his labor rate's $20 an hour cheaper than the Lexus place, so that's nice. He said, look, I'm gonna look at it for a couple hours, see what I can do, take the carb off. And he, you know, this is what like the big difference is. Being in customer service is all about managing expectations. I worked in customer service for a number of years, not as the title in customer service, but I worked in real estate working with customers all day. I worked as a paralegal working with customers all day. I'm used to dealing with customers, and no matter what information you have for them, good or bad, you always want to set clear expectations. If something's good, tell them it's good. If something's bad, tell them it's bad. If it's going to take a day, tell them it'll take a day. Don't tell them we'll try to get it done by lunch and we'll get back to you. That's bullshit. Tell them this is probably going to take a day. If it happens sooner, let you know. So the Lexus dealership, I called them Tuesday, or the Lexus service place. Called them on the weekend. They're like, oh, bring it in on Tuesday. Bring it in on Tuesday. Oh, well, we need it the whole afternoon and you don't have an appointment, blah, blah, blah. Okay, fine. Make an appointment for Wednesday. Bring it in on Wednesday. At 9 o'clock, made an appointment. Oh, well, and they're only doing an hour worth of work, at least they're charging me an hour of labor. Maybe it turned out a little more than that. But anyways. Oh, we need it the whole afternoon, maybe we'll get it back by like 2 or 3. I'm like, dude, I told you I had a doctor's appointment when I got here. How did you not listen to me? If you're going to tell someone, bring in for a 9 o'clock appointment, but we're going to need it the rest of the day, say, okay, great. I know you're bringing it in for a 9 o'clock appointment, but just FYI, our 1 hour appointments usually take 6 hours to complete because we have a lot of other customers that got here first and tough cookies. Fine, just tell me. If you absolutely can't finish before 2 o'clock and I give it to you at 9, tell me before I make the goddamn appointment and plan my day around it. Versus the motorcycle shops like, look, I'm going to be out Friday. I'll try to get the carbs off. You're probably not going to have it back till next week. Great, fine. I don't need the bike till next week. But at least he set an honest expectation rather than me taking it on Thursday, him saying, I'll see what I can do. Then Friday, he doesn't answer the phone. And then Monday, oh yeah, I was off Friday. Sorry about that. Da, da, da. Just set a clear expectation so people know what they can expect. Not that hard. Anyways, I'm going to get off the rant horse, go get my coffee, maybe get a donut, maybe screw with the car, maybe not. I don't know. It's such a headache now, but I'm getting a little bit closer. I doubt that the radiator fluid being fully topped off is going to make much of a difference. I mean, maybe I'll be at closer to the second radiator notch instead of between the second and the third radiator notch. But the Lexus guys were like, oh, your car's overheating in our service bay. I'm like, really? Really? Never overheats for me, man. Anyways, YouTube, thanks for watching. We're going to try to get outdoors at some point before 2020. And until next time, stay safe, stay ready, keep your cars and vehicles in working order, and keep prepping.